School start times should start later in the morning. Starting early in the morning doesn't give students an adequate amount of sleep at night. Teens are suffering from sleep deprivation, which is severely impacting their learning and success. Teens are supposed to get 9 hours of sleep, but only average fewer than 7 hours on school nights. According to the sleepfoundation.org, sleep deprivation impairs students' ability to be alert, pay attention, solve problems, cope with stress, and retain information. Young people who are sleep deprived carry a risk for drowsy driving. They're at a greater risk for emotional and behavioral problems such as depression, irritability, poor impulse control, and violence. After much research and even from my own personal experiences as a student, I have gathered credible information as to why school days should start later in the morning. According to Washington.edu, puberty lengthens the circadian cycle in adolescence and also decreases the rhythm's sensitivity to light in the morning. These changes cause teens to fall asleep later each night and wake up later each morning. Teens are forced to shift their entire sleeping schedule. Generally, times at which teens fall asleep is biologically determined, but when they wake up is socially determined. Disrupted circadian cycles can affect digestion, heart rate, body temperature, immune system functions, attention span, and mental health. Because of the circadian cycle, it is almost impossible for adolescents to fall asleep as early as younger children or adults. According to the CDC, adolescents who do not get enough sleep are more likely to be overweight, not engage in daily physical activity, suffer from depression, engage in unhealthy behaviors, and perform poorly in school. You may be wondering why these students aren't just going to sleep earlier. Due to after-school activities such as sports, detention, jobs, or family responsibilities, many students aren't able to have the time to do all of their school responsibilities, such as their homework or studying for an exam, after all of their activities and get to sleep at a decent hour. Not only can they not go to sleep because of their responsibilities, the circadian cycle makes it more difficult for adolescents to fall asleep earlier. Since it would be harder to get schools to change their start times, everyone can play a part in helping students get an adequate amount of sleep. According to the CDC, parents can model and encourage habits that help promote good sleep. Setting a regular bedtime and rise time, including weekends, can help children get to sleep. Dim the lighting because adolescents exposed to more light are less likely to get enough sleep. Lastly, parents can start a media curfew to restrict the technological use after a certain time. Healthcare professionals can educate adolescent patients and their parents about the importance of adequate sleep and factors that contribute to insignificant sleep among adolescents. School officials can learn more about the research connecting sleep and school start times. There are many benefits to starting school times later. According to schoolstartlater.net, to name a few, it can improve alertness, memory, attention, and cognitive processing. It can improve academic performances, reduce tardiness, truancy, and dropout rates. It can reduce fatigue, depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. In a study performed by Washington.edu using two groups, one group with later start times and the other with earlier start times, the group with later start times were better off. The group that was able to sleep in more on weekdays showed that 34 minutes of extra sleep each night had a huge impact. Their wake-up times compared to weekdays and weekends moved closer together. Their final grades are 4.5% higher than the students who didn't get enough sleep. The number of tardies and first period absences also decreased. After my research, I believe that the benefits greatly outweigh the cons of starting days later in the morning, and therefore, for the safety and health of adolescent students, school start times should start later in the morning.